Interesting topic, one would say. And it's very relevant for the times we are in. I'm going to share what I think I understand, and I really need feedback on this one. I am not too sure, but I need feedback. So, as I've said, there's three classifications that I've picked up, and namely ownership, orphan, or rental or renting, right? So ownership is the one that most of us fear. The rebooting, as the computer goes off and then on, that one. You're in a place and then someone is fully in control, like many of our families, not all, but many of our families, because there's different categories, as I mentioned it, that will make sense what kind of category you fall under. It's that one. Complete ownership, meaning you submitted to such a person, you know how they serve you, y'all have that relationship. And guys, like usually when you encounter something with the Lord, or you refer to them as the Lord, hence why what I'm about to explain, the concept landlord. So whoever you refer to as the Lord, whatever hiccups or whatever that might be happening in your down season with them, you must just know that whatever the Lord does is he means well, she means well, they mean well. No one can help you with that kind of situation. It's like going to someone and literally talking about a parent. It's not wise, type of thing. I'm not saying it to anyone directly, I'm just saying it generally. Unless you have someone who can unlock you from that power, who's of, and you show her they are above, and it's not from a point that, or you get a transfer from your initial owner that says, okay, you can be with this one because they're gonna help you with such, and they probably connected somehow, so it's never a problem. That kind of thing. And then we have orphan. Orphan is like let's say it's someone that maybe it's, we have families and we have relatives. We have families and then we have relatives. So it's like your relatives, one of their relatives or an in-law, for example, from their family, they are married in ownership to a certain PowerPoint. But then you either visit them or you go to them, and then somehow they become aware of your existence, type of thing. And or like you in the same circle that they would know that a part of them might end up with you. So you kind of orphaned in that sense. Or maybe it's like, for example, let's say someone who does not have complete ownership of you, meaning they can assist you with something. Let's say you have a problem and then someone assists you, nah? You are kind of orphaned to them because like you don't have anyone to help you out, a Lord or whatever the case is, so they step in. But then you are in a period with them, you're in a period where they're still assessing if you are valuable according to them, for them to take full ownership of you. Am I confusing the two concepts or what? Yeah, I don't know if I'm confusing the two or what. Often is like when someone is literally helping you out in so many areas of your life, but you don't have any direct connection with them, like they're not resident within you yet, and they kind of still seeing what you bring to the table. Are you worth it, or whatever the case is according to their criteria. And then we renting, I think I've confused the concept. Yeah, renting, I think I explained it at first, where you visit a family member and that kind of thing. It's more like almost not so different from orphan. Renting and orphan are somewhat the same thing. Okay, but with the orphan, it's a complete stranger, so that's the difference. But it's more like the same concept. Whereas renting, it's like the landlord comes in It's like, for example, if someone has lived or resided in a house or whatever the case is, or they're in ownership of a building, whatever the case is. Like, for example, whoever owns your CEOs, whoever owns the building, whatnot. It's just different hierarchies of ownership as well. It applies. So whoever owns, it's a matter of they've been owning it for years, right? And then you go work there, for example, right? But there is no, maybe there comes a period for such a moment of complete ownership, but before that, you're still renting, you're coming in, you probably, there's certain deductions, I'm sure, from work stuff that help to, even your services there, that help to maintain the building as it is, but you come in and out of it. You're not really a permanent resident of the place. You just simply come in and out. So these kind of categories filter. I don't know if I've mixed things up, but I'm sure you get the hang of what I'm saying. These kind of categories of ownership filter to different aspects and areas of our lives that once they're not understood, amen, you could almost, I don't know how to put it, you could almost get so baffled, or you could think maybe an enemy is into you and stuff like that. Okay, you as a person, you would know the different energies that are filtering in your life, but you would get it from a wrong angle completely. But this is one of the main reasons why the season is what it is right now. But not the only argue, or the only thing that was more of a concern was like, why so many PowerPoints active all at once? Hence why I say I think the most preferential way to this whole thing that would make sense and would quiet down or lower down the levels of everything just happening all at once is people actually making a choice, people knowing, being honest with themselves, knowing what they actually want, and being very intentional about their choices of who they would otherwise opt for. But unfortunately, the disadvantages with such ownership is that others, as I've always mentioned in the previous videos, or whatever I've said here previously, that some are very possessive. Now I don't know even what to classify myself as. I feel like I'm between the renting orphan, but if there's also an anonymous phase where you're not literally feeling, I personally, I'm not talking family, because I'm at an age I should have been knowing of certain people. So I feel like I'm in a stage where I could be courted or I could be courting, but I prefer to court, because I'm not being mean or anything, but this is it. This, you have to have this solid for so many things of your life to make sense. And the trick here, or the wisdom here with me that I've picked up, is that I'm a female moving into a different phase of my life, and different phase where I'm viewing it from a partnership perspective, not a singular kind of person. And now I want to cement that part with someone. It makes so much sense to do that with someone from ground up than to be married to different people, if you would have it. Yeah, to different people. So that's just what I'm thinking. I don't know. But really, I'm curious. What's your take about this? What's your take? What is your take about this? I am very curious. Very curious. It filters to many things, Like Honano with work procedures is the same thing with property purchase, investment of properties, of property is the same concept. Different areas or departments require such at this point in time. That's why where now do we draw the line to not be all over the place? Why are we necessary all over? I mean, some places have at least our information. Isn't that a point of contact of some sort until it can be or get to that point where it's necessary now for that final stamp of ownership, I don't know. I am very curious. Help a girl out. Or am I on point? As I observe things, I encounter things, and I really sit down and question things, and I come up with such conclusions. Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I this? Am I that? I really need to understand, Please now, come on. A girl needs to know. A girl needs to know. And yeah, I've not encountered anything with, hence why I explain, I'm still courting or being courted. Peace out.